Welcome back to part 2. This video won't be long actually because I realised no one was really that interested in the last video. Maybe it's because there was no flying cars and drone shots and wicked transitions and whatever the hell. But there really should be, because what I really liked about that last video is it shows what a one-man band can do these days with doing your own sound and just handheld. And I think it really shows what you can do now in today's age. And I hate the saying, but it does democratize filmmaking. Like we are there, we are now there. We are in the future, which is good and bad. In the old days, that was a good barrier to entry. If you were lucky enough to film with the expensive film gear, you could make films. And now everyone can. And the bad thing about that is now everyone can. So your film better be good. And I thought it'd be good to get out there, film something, do something. Not much interest in the last video, but maybe it's just temporary, hey? Okay, so in this video, I'll show you some behind the scenes. And the last, just in case you didn't know, the last video, we recreated a scene from the 1992 film Single White Female, and I'll put a link down below for you. And I can't show the original scene, of course, because it'll be flagged for copyright. And I probably can't have the sound playing either too, so what I'll do is do a split screen next to ours. We weren't trying to match these shots exactly. I have to point that out. But we had a different purpose on this shoot. Laura just basically wanted something for her reel. And when I researched the film, I realized it wasn't going to be about me. There was no tricky lighting or tricky cameras or moving cameras or anything like that. So in terms of lighting, I just decided early on, straight away, I just wanted to make this, use practicals and bounce some lights off the ceiling if we needed. And indeed I did for that shot. So in the behinds shots here that I managed to fire off a couple. I wanted to do more, but we were on a limited timeline. Everyone had to go and pick up kids and stuff from school. So an important thing here is we shot day for night. Laura had some curtains which blocked out most of the light, but there was a skylight in the room next to us with no door. So luckily I brought some extra light stands and we used some curtains to block it out. You block out the natural light and replace it with some artificial looking blue light. And you know what anything would have done really, as long as it didn't look like sunlight. So blue is good. And now I am actually really glad I did this practice with the girls. I didn't think lighting would matter since I didn't like the reference footage anyway. But in hindsight, there are tricks going on behind the scenes in all films that we don't even think about, obviously. And every time you film something, you learn something. Even something that seemed basic, as this shoot did appear to me at first. But nothing is as simple as they say, hey? And I recommend everyone get out there and do some filming, smash out some filming, because if you go out and recreate a scene from a movie that you like, and obviously I don't mean anything like, you know, blockbuster effects, unless that's what you want to do, just like normal dialogue scenes, you realize that filmmaking isn't as easy as it looks. And I know that you know this, but I keep learning the same lesson. It's like a bit of humble pie, right? Hubris. So just film a normal scene and try and match the lighting, basically. And not like what I've done, although I think it looks nice. I was aiming for the girls just to look nice. So obviously it's not the same vibe. This is almost film noir, which I like, or colourful noir. And when you compare these two side by side, I guess I could have darkened the hell out of the room and given a more spotlight to the actresses, and also some gobos, you know, some shaped light patterns on the walls behind. But then again, that would have been easier if it wasn't actually daytime, because remember we shot day for night. Okay, let's roll film. And remember, if you want to watch it properly in its entirety, it's in the part 1 previous video. Okay, let's go. Okay, the original holds on Bridget, and since this is a shared acting reel for the girls, I chose not to hold on the one shot. And plus, I made the girls do a few takes as well, like with different intensities, so I could choose different parts in the edit. Cutting obviously helps that. And with lighting, I did want this to be seamless for the actresses, even though they're professional. I thought this will be good, it won't break the flow. And that means lighting it pretty much the same from both camera angles. And I almost got there. I just had to add or remove one bounce light in each angle, just to brighten the faces a little bit. And that's also why I went handheld, because it's so stable and it's so good with this dual stabe, with the S1H, stabilization in the lens, that means, and in the body. And I always tried to make it a nice filmic, a cinematic focal length of 35 mils, and tried not to move too much. It works best if you don't try to move. I don't think it's created to walk around and vlog and whatever, so it does its best if you just try to be stable yourself. Sounds obvious, but it actually is worth mentioning. Okay, the only other main challenge was audio. Obviously audio is probably the most important thing on a shoot, because cheap audio ruins the whole thing, right? No matter how good the lighting or the acting is. And since I'm shooting on my own, I went with 2 lavs hidden under the shirt. Now that worked well in the edit. And my main problem being you could hear chest sounds, like you could hear swallowing and stuff like that, kind of like a doctor, you're too close. And you would hear that way more than if it was a boom mic. And there was that, and also some clothes rustling sounds. We picked that up on one of the takes, and we fixed that on set just by putting the mic inside the bra strap rather than on the outside of the bra strap. That way it didn't scratch the surface. Right, that was actually pretty easy to edit because I had 2 Rode wireless goes, and if you can see them there, and that was using a split cable, left and right, and make sure it actually is a left and right split cable, not one that combines it. And that way you can just separate the 2 performances in post, and you can just duplicate each channel as you need. So that was great. That worked really well, and you don't have to sync it up because it's already synced up. Actually, that's basically it. You can see the differences there. We use a mobile phone instead of a home phone. We made it our own. This was the hardest one to light because now we're in the area where we're trying to hide the natural light on the right, and we had a living room or an entry light on the left side, which makes Olga's face quite yellow coming up here. Graded it down a little bit. I think the girls did a great job. Maybe my filming was the weakest link of that. And like I said, I'm very glad that I did it, even though initially I thought, oh, this is nothing. Where's the tricky camera moves and the transitions and whatever, yeah? Yeah, it would have been more shareable from my perspective as a cameraman, as a filmmaker, if it had like extra gimmicks in there. Like if we filmed a scene like that, with the actresses dangling off a cliff or something, right? But you know, we can always do that next time. Yeah, but like I said, even a simple scene like that, like I'm glad I did it, because you wouldn't really do a scene, nothing would motivate you to do a scene like that. But now that I have, I realize that even that isn't as easy as it sounds, as easy as it initially was. Because looking at it, obviously I can already improve. Like, yeah, I would have actually gone for darkening the whole place, spotlight the girls in a soft way. Then you can go to town with your like Black Pro mist filters. I did have one on there actually, there was a 1/8, forgot to mention that. But really experiment with some more. And in fact, I've just purchased another one, and I'll keep it quiet for now. And I'm gonna put a different filter on my other videos. Just looking at this has really inspired me. And I already can see how to improve things like that. And so that's one positive, I guess, that's come out of this for me. And honestly, if you take that advice on board, just get out there and film something. And since no one's probably watching this video anyway, either, I just say, look, all right, I'm out. Cheers. That's enough.